Hi everyone, welcome. If you're new here, my name is Aileen and here we talk about all things makeup, mostly luxury makeup, skincare, and fashion. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I hope you consider subscribing and joining the family. So you guys, today, the much anticipated Mother Pat blushes and quad have arrived. So if you want to see these in action, swatches on the face with and without bronzer, then keep on watching. But before we go, like we always say, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. So let's get to it. So let's start with the quad. So the packaging is as so, and in comparison with the blushes, so you see the size, very nice. Blushes are a decent size. So the quad is good for 18 months. This is my first quad from Mother Pat. I have a few Mothership palettes and I have a 6-pan, but I don't have any quads. So I'm excited. She opens up like this. I'm sure you guys, same standard packaging. And then on the back, it has the sticker that shows you the shades. So let's go ahead and give her a swatch. But before I do, let you guys take a look. And if you see, if I hold it like this, you see the dual chrome of this shade right here. You see the pink right here and the gold in the mirror. Very pretty. I'm excited. So I'm gonna swatch Rose Fire, Nectar, Moonlight Liaison, Twilight Bronze, and After Dusk. So here's the first shade on the finger, and I will swatch it up here so we have room for the blushes. Look at that, how pretty. That's like a perfect brow shade, like brow highlight and inner corner. Next is the dual chrome shade, and you can see that shift on the finger from that pink and gold. I'm excited. Here she is, and you can see as I shift my hand, the shade shifts. So pretty. Next is the matte, and this is it here. And don't worry about my nails. I know I have to paint them, but I've been crafting, and every time I craft, they get all inky. That swatch so pretty. That is a beautiful, smooth, silky matte. I am loving that. And then last, it's this shade here. These all swatch beautifully. And from top to bottom, they are Moonlight Liaison, Rose Fire Nectar, After Dusk, and Twilight Bronze. So pretty. Let's create an eye look and then get into these blushes. I'm not gonna lie. These are very glittery looking, and y'all know I don't do glitter, but we gonna do what it do. So I'm gonna start with the matte shade, which is Twilight Bronze. Ooh, it's really soft. Look at all that kick up on the pan right there, which I'm not mad at, as long as I don't have a ton of fallout, because I am one to do my base before my shadow, but let's get to it. I'm just gonna place the majority of this pigment on the outer corner and then start buffing it inwards. And then in circular motions, just buff that out to soften those harsh lines. I was really excited about this quad. These are my go-to shades all day, every day. So I'm just going to pick up a little more and darken out here. Just a tad, and now bring it into the crease a little darker. And there you are. That's the first shade, which is Twilight Bronze. And I did buff that in with a BK Beauty 201. And Mother Pat says to go in with your finger for best results. So I'm going to go in with my finger into Moonlight Liaison, which is that dual chrome shift shade. And we just going to see what happens. And I'm going to place this on the majority of the lid, bringing it onto that deeper shade. And I do have fallout, but I'm gonna try to clean it up. And I'm just gonna, I did swipe that, so now I'm gonna pat it. And I'm gonna go back into my BK Beauty 201, dip into that deep shade, that matte Twilight Bronze shade. And I'm just gonna blend that right here where the two shades meet and bring it in. There's what we have so far. It's very pretty. I'm not a fan of the fallout, and I'm not sure if you can see the fallout there. It looks like, I'm looking at the viewfinder, it looks like it's picking it up, but yeah, it's more in person than what the viewfinder is picking up. And I am not a fan. So I'm gonna dust that off. Yeah, this is definitely a do your eyes first type of palette. And this is why I don't do glitter. Yeah, that fallout is not going anywhere. They're like micro glitters. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a little bit of setting powder. I'm gonna go with the Laura Mercier setting powder. Let me get some out. And with a sponge, put that underneath my eyes. I'm not one to bake, but honey, it's like the worst of the two evils. I'd rather have some dry under eye than glitter all over my face, because I can always remove the concealer and remove that section and redo it. But glitter, that is not coming off your face until you deep cleanse those micro glitters. So we're just, and I'm gonna put it on my nose because I don't know if the viewfinder is picking that up, but there's glitter all over my nose. So we're just gonna do that. And it is what it is. But I do like the shades. Those two shades in your eyes already like, bam. Where are we going? So this is a queen brush, and it's just like a fluffy eyeshadow brush. And I'm gonna go into Rose Fire Nectar, which is this one right here. And I'm going to lightly dip in there and then do the brow bone. Yeah, I know that this looks crazy, all this powder all over my face, but when I tell you guys I'm not a glitter girl, I'm not a glitter girl. And then I'm gonna go in with the BK Beauty 207, and I'm gonna go into After Dusk, which is this shade right here. And I'm going to place that on the inner third of the lid, but not bringing it into my inner corner. I want that shade I used up here in the brow. And there you are. Next, I'm going to get, I'm just going to clean off my BK Beauty 207. And I'm gonna go into that same shade, Rose Fire Nectar. It's gonna take me a minute to remember these. And I'm going to spray it with some MAC Fix Plus just to get that oomph for the inner corner. So there's the inner corner, and I'm going to deepen that, make it a little brighter. Yes, you can see that. And I'm not big on glitter again, so I'm not going to put any glitter on the lower lash. I'm going to go in with the Twilight Bronze, which is the matte shade. I'm just going to dip in there, pinch my brush, and then just smoke it out, starting on the outside where I want the deepest shade, and then bringing it in. That's really pretty. So let me do the other eye of camera and I'll be right back, and then we'll play with some blushes. Okay, so we're back. I did tight line with the One Size Bodacious Black on the top, and to keep with Mama Pat's way of doing things, I did line the lower lash with this liner and then buff it out for her iconic look. So here is the final eye look. And I did apply my Chanel mascara. It's cute, but I'm not sure if the camera's gonna pick up all the fallout. It's definitely a quad that you want to do your eyes before your base, because this shade right here and this shade definitely had fallout. I couldn't tell if it was this shade more than this, but both of these. I didn't experience fallout with this one or with this one. This one was very minimal on the right out here, but that's normal. But yeah, no. So let's go ahead and take a look at the blushes. I did pick up 3 shades, and just for size comparison, this is the box of the quad and this is the box of the blush. And then I will take the blush out. I love this packaging, like the color and the fact that it just pops up. Oop, love it. And just for size comparison, for the actual compact, there it is. So I did pick up 3 shades, like I said. The first shade is Devine Rose, and this has an 18-month shelf life. So before I apply the blushes, I want to bronze one side of my face so you can see what the color will look like without bronze and with bronze. So I'm just going to go in with my Bobbi Brown. This is one that's loved. As you can see, it has the rings, and this is in the shade medium 2. And I'm just going to bronze this side of my face. Oh, that looks so much better. This half, the bronze half. You guys know I love a good bronzer, but I went very light, where I usually go really heavy with the bronzer and I add multiple bronzers. I really I don't want to do it so much my way as I would the way most people would apply their makeup. They'll probably just use one bronzer. I'm a little extra when it comes to bronzers. I get it. So now let's move on to the blush application and swatches. So this is Devine Rose. Here she is on the finger. And there she is swatched. This is very soft, very pretty. The formula is super soft. There are 2 formulas for her blushes. There's a demi matte, and this is the demi matte formula. And then there are some that have like a pearlescence to them that have some sheen. So I'm going to try to use different brushes for each of these blushes. So this is a Sigma large angled contour brush. And in between blushes, I'm going to have to redo my foundation. But that is just lightly tapping. And there she is. And this is on the side with bronzer. I will say it does have a blurring effect to it. It's really pretty. I don't have anything on this side, but for comparison, it is really pretty. Let's see how it piles up. Let's see how it builds up. It does build up nicely. I really don't like more of an oomph in my blush than that. And this is honestly the shade that I was most excited for. Just because it has a mauvey lilac in it, even though it's like a pink shade. I just love it. I mean, and it's Pat McGrath. It's Devine Rose. It's one of her signature shades. That's with no bronzer. So let me build that up. There it is with no bronzer. And there it is with bronzer. And this is Devine Rose. No bronzer. Bronzer. So let me remove this and we'll move on to the next shade. Okay, so we're back. I've reapplied my foundation and I'm using the Tom Ford foundation stick. And I've reapplied the bronzer on this side, but none over here. And the next blush is in the shade Nude Venus. And she looks like so. I feel like this shade in particular, when I hold it up, it looks a lot darker than it really is. Like when I hold it back here, this is the shade. But I'm looking at it in the viewfinder when I bring it close. And there you go. That is the shade. A lot lighter than what this looks like. So this is true to shade. So let me swatch that for you. And this is more of a peachy pink. And this is Nude Venus. And this is Devine Rose. They are very soft. Very soft. I can give it that. Next, I will use my Refer 4. It definitely picks up pigment. That's pretty. Oh, I like that. I thought Devine Rose was going to be my favorite, but I really like this. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I didn't pick up the highlighter. Like, I'm not a big highlighter person because I'm so oily. I usually use something very subtle, but now I'm like, ooh, should I have gotten it to go over this? Because it's so pretty. This one does have like that golden pearlescence to it. And I'm not sure if you see a slight sheen, but it's so minimal, so minimal. I'm going to do the side with no bronzer. This is so pretty. I really like this shade. a lot for my skin tone. I feel on darker skin tones, it really won't show up as much. But the good thing is she was diverse and inclusive with her blushes, because at first I was like, I want 6, all but those last 3 that were super intense. And then I just settled. That's a good thing for me when they announce a release and then you have enough time to think about it before it comes. Like most people's numbers go up where mine go down. So here is Nude Venus without bronzer and Nude Venus with bronzer. And that is this shade here. With bronzer and without. I think so far, this one's my favorite. But let me wipe this off and reapply my foundation, and I'll be right back for the next one. Okay, so we're back. I'm laughing because after I wiped away the foundation, I was like, oh, I got most of the fallout out now, except for like what's under my eyes that I didn't remove. But again, this side has bronzer and this side does not. And the next shade I picked up is Nymphette. And Nymphette, I believe, is the shade that's exclusive to the Pat McGrath side. And Nymphette also has a gold pearly finish. So I will swatch that. Here it is on the finger. And here she is. This is a lot pinkier. So this is like a true, kind of looks like a Barbie pink swatched. I will say that kind of shocks me a little bit. Looks like more pinky than it does on the pan. Maybe not. Maybe it's the lighting. But the first one is more that mauve with a little lilac in it. This is like a peachy pink. And Nymphette is like a soft pink. It's really pretty. I feel where Devine Rose has some purple in it and Nude Venus has some peach, like this is pink. It truly is just pink. And there you see the shade. These all apply beautifully. I will say that, like they go on so smoothly, so effortlessly. I'm sorry, and this is the Refer 5. I wanted to make sure I used different brushes. That's really pretty too. I really like all these shades. Let me see how it piles up and builds up. That's really, really pretty. And this being the last shade, I wanted to try Mama Pat's method of just swirl your brush in there, tap it off, pinch it, and kind of contour with it, and then softly with what's left. If you really like an intense blush, this is the method that she recommends, but that's kind of like too much blush for me. But for the sake of showing you how it builds up, that's pretty. I would do more subtle. I'm gonna go more subtle on this side, which is what I would normally do. This method reminds me of like Runway, 1980s, all those vibes. And I'm more of a soft, that's still like pigmented. And because this is the golden pearl finish, it does have some luminosity. It's very pretty on the skin. And this is without bronzer, and this is with bronzer, but also a heavy hand. And again, this is Nymphette. So there you go, you guys. Those are the 3 I picked up. I really, really like the blush. I would say my favorite is Nude Venus. I love the peach, but this, I don't know, I like them all. I like them all. I decided to go with 3 instead of 6 because when's the last time you hit pan on a blush? Me and Dr. Ash were talking about that. It's like, I've hit pan on 2 blushes, and one of them, the pan is like teeny, tiny, and it took years. So I really like the blurring effect. I like that you can build them up. So if you are darker than me, just note that you can very easily build these up if you are not sure about certain shades. And I feel it's very pretty with or without bronzer. Obviously, I'm one that's gonna want to have bronzer on, but I think like between the blurring properties of this blush and like the softness of it, you can easily use this on like no makeup days. I think you could put this over skincare and it'll blur and just give you that sun-kissed look. You know what I mean? But there you go, you guys. That is all. I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to comment and subscribe. And until next time, don't forget, we're all perfectly imperfect. Bye.